seconds to go. Florida trying to end it up against the wall, which would be fitting. 3 seconds to go. The Florida Panthers have won the Stanley Cup. For the first time in their 30-year history, the Florida Panthers are Stanley Cup champions. They made it about as hard on themselves as they possibly could, battling a valiant Edmonton team that had rallied from adversity all season long. And Paul Maurice, coaching lifer, 30 years in the National Hockey League, has his Stanley Cup.
What the puck is going on?
This is What the Puck is Going On for April the 14th, 2025, Monday evening, just after 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I am your host, Stephen Murray. Nephew Dave enjoying an evening with the lovely Sarah as they celebrate their anniversary. How about that? So you'll get me on this last week of the regular season of the National Hockey League. Here we are, right on the cusp of the playoffs, and we're ready to get that going into full gear. We'll have an end of the season show on Thursday night, so we'll be here Monday and Thursday, and then I think we'll be around for the entire playoffs Monday through Thursday. How about that? At least a little bit of a show, even if it's shorter, and as we advance through the rounds of the playoffs, we'll knock some teams out. We won't have to spend too much time on the games at hand as we go, but we'll get started with a flurry of action. 16 teams left to decide the winner of the Stanley Cup, and we'll be here Monday through Thursday night to break it down fully and look at every angle we can involving us covering the National Hockey League. All right, so we're at the playoffs. Wow. And thank you for everyone who's been a part of the show all season long. A little bit of business left to finish up here in the regular season. So let's get right to it. Let's see where we're at in the standings. As I'll pull these up fresh. And we got one little piece of business left to solve, mainly in the Eastern Conference, with the Montreal Canadiens and the Columbus Blue Jackets, as the Blue Jackets have one last little lifeline left. They trail 3 points. Big wins for Columbus over the weekend over the top seeded Capitals, keeping them alive here until the very end. Montreal losing back-to-back games over the weekend, too, have allow Columbus to close the gap to 3 points, but there's only 2 games left to play. So if Montreal can get a win tonight at home against Chicago, they'll be able to cement the last playoff spot in the East, and we'll be all said and done in that regard. So they have 88 points, Columbus with 85. That's all that matters at this point. Everyone else has clinched a playoff spot in the East. Those teams would be your top seed, Washington Capitals, right now second. And could that be changed? Still, I guess so. Tampa Bay could catch Toronto technically as they trail them by 4 points with 2 games left to play. Toronto has a tiebreaker there, right? Yeah, so I don't think Tampa Bay can jump past Toronto. I believe the Leafs went 4-0 against the Lightning this season. Toronto really playing well going into the playoffs. Winners of 3 in a row now. Tampa Bay's been nice, 6-1-3. And your other hot team is Ottawa. They've won 2 in a row, 7-2-1 in their last 10. New Jersey has slipped all the way down to the 7th seed. How about that? So New Jersey, losers of 3 in a row, playing not very good hockey right now at the moment. The Panthers have slipped a little bit, 5-4-1 in their last 10, but they've won 3 in a row, so they've kind of righted the ship. Carolina is 4-5-1 in their last 10. I get it. You start from scratch once you get into the playoffs here, and everyone starts new, but you want to be playing good hockey right about now. And Toronto really making a case, at least to me, to maybe be the representative in the Eastern Conference for the Stanley Cup. The Capitals 3-6-1, losers of 2 in a row. Now they sat Ovechkin on Saturday and Chychrun, so they kind of have left off the gas here at the end. Obviously, the Ovechkin thing maybe a little bit more of than a minor distraction, trying to achieve that goal record from Wayne Gretzky. That seemed to be the most important thing here down the stretch for them as the season is waning down. But the Capitals, they're going to have to get right here. They're a finesse team. They can show a little bit of grit, but when the chips are down in the table and push comes to shove and they need to kind of come up with a big win, they find it hard sometimes to do so, and they can be beaten handily. So it'll be interesting to see what Capitals team we can get here in the playoffs. 109 points on the season has been fantastic. That's going to end up second best now to Winnipeg, who's been on fire here to end the season in the Western Conference. But still some questions, as the Capitals will be the number 1 seed and not the favorite in the Eastern Conference to represent the East in the Stanley Cup. All right, so Montreal and Columbus. Montreal, a big game tonight. They get Chicago, of all teams, at home tonight. So they'll try to advance to the playoffs on home ice this evening. And that would be a good story for Montreal, as we have not expected much from them this season, or Columbus, really. Give the hats off to them. I think a lot of people wanted to see Columbus get in for the Goudreau brothers perspective. But they've just lost just a couple too many games here down the stretch, kind of hitting a funk here about 3 or 4 weeks ago. And that's really going to be what's bitten them and got to stunt them from probably making the postseason. There'll be big Blackhawk fans tonight. Wow, if the Blackhawks can pull a big upset on the road tonight, then, I guess it's anything can happen here in the last week. But Montreal, they have that 3-point lead. Just win at home tonight against Chicago, and you can be in the playoffs. All right, in the Western Conference, we're locked in with Winnipeg as your top seed. Vegas, still some seeding to be sorted out. Vegas leads Dallas by a point for the second spot. Now, they're in different divisions, so they're going to get that second seed. But Dallas has 106 points. Colorado, 102. The Kings, 101. So we could see some flip-flopping there. Edmonton, 99, as the Kings have now jumped Edmonton. Minnesota, 95. St. Louis, 94. And the Flames are at 92 points. All right. The difference here is the Flames have 2 games left to play. Minnesota and St. Louis just 1 each. So the Flames could theoretically jump into the playoffs here. And St. Louis, as good as they've been, they've now lost 3 in a row, opening the door for the Flames here, who won a couple in a row to get right back in it. So we'll take a look at those 2 teams in Minnesota as well with their schedules here for the rest of the week, heading into Thursday, the last day of the regular season. So a little bit of business unfinished as well here in the Western Conference as well. Not necessarily just the Eastern Conference. So Minnesota Wild, St. Louis Blues, Calgary Flames all separated by 3 points. Calgary, the last team, but they have an extra game in hand. And arguably, it could be the hottest team right now. They have 3 overtimes in their last 10. That's going to help their cause here, 5-2-3. St. Louis, again, like we said, they've lost 3 in a row here after that fantastic 15-game win streak. Now they're on the losing streak. And the Wild, who are consistently inconsistent, kind of just stumbling down the stretch here. Even Minnesota in the playoffs, you got to figure their lack of offensive firepower will doom them against some of these better teams here at the end of the day. All right, so we have some things to figure out now. Let's take a look at the schedules. Like I mentioned, for Minnesota and Calgary and for St. Louis. And we have Minnesota with their last game tomorrow night against Anaheim. So that's good, right? You only have Anaheim to beat at home, although the Ducks have been a little bit feistier here down the stretch. And better than what they've been in recent years, at least. A little bit tougher road for Calgary as they are against Vegas tomorrow night at home, and then they will be at the Kings on Thursday. So that is a double dip of bad, hard luck games, tough opponents. Can Calgary rise to the occasion there? They'll need Anaheim's help for sure. And then let's see. Also, the schedule for the Blues in this last week of the regular season. St. Louis will play tomorrow night will be their last game, and they get Utah at home. So at least they're at home, and Utah's opponent they should be able to beat at home. And it's probably going to be too much of a mountain to climb, even with the extra game in hand, for Calgary to catch up. Just win your last game if you're Minnesota against Anaheim and St. Louis against Utah, and then that will lock in your playoffs. Calgary will be sent home for the summer. All right, easy enough to win those games, you would think, right? Well, it is sports, so anything can happen. All right, let's take a look at the games for this evening, as we do have 6 games on the slate. And we'll start off with 3 games at 7 o'clock. 7:10 will be your face-off, actually. And Dallas is one of them against Detroit. Dallas relatively unfazed here as far as the standings go. Let's take another quick look at that with Dallas, where they sit with everything. And Dallas, losers of 5 in a row, right? Don't you want to get right going into the playoffs here? They have 2 games in hand. Colorado is done for the season. Technically, Dallas really has nothing to play for, except for the fact that I think if you lost 5 in a row, you want to put your best effort out. They will be at Detroit tonight. Detroit's a team who's recently been eliminated. So have they checked out for the season? Yeah, maybe. This is a coin flip game. Dallas minus 115 over under 6.5. I think I'll stay away from it. But you would think Dallas would want to get right at least a little bit. We do have Cam Talbot in goal for the Red Wings, and Jake Ottinger will be in goal for Dallas. They'll have another chance to rest their players, but maybe you want to just go out and get things right tonight and put out a dominant effort against Detroit. So I think I would lean with Dallas in that regard. Let's make sure we got all our goal scorers kind of going. I see Mikko Rantanen playing. I see Rupe Hintz. I see Wyatt Johnston. I see Dandanov. Let's see. So it looks like we have the full cast of characters for the most part for Dallas. Jamie Benn playing, Dumba. All right, so it doesn't look like they'll be sitting many players Now I do see Larkin playing for Detroit, Patrick Kane. At what point Tarasenko? At what point have they just kind of will be going through the motions? I don't know. Hard game to handicap when it doesn't mean anything. So I think that's just a stay away and a smart move to do that. I think I lean Dallas on the road. Another team who just wants to probably get things right here, and they've won a few games in a row, talking about Florida. They'll host the Rangers. Man, are the Rangers partying in South Beach? To end the season, maybe. So I think you take a chance on the Panthers probably here. They're minus 176. Over under is 5.5 in this game. The goalies listed are Bobrovsky for the Panthers. I don't see Igor Shesterkin listed for the Rangers. So we'll get Bobrovsky in there. And as far as the cast of characters to be playing, I mean, I see Sam Reinhart, I see Barkov, I see Verhaeghe, I see Sam Bennett, all listed to play. I see Chris Kreider, Zibanejad. So the Rangers aren't really going to be sitting anyone, nor will Florida. Again, maybe just kind of get one last good effort out from your players, beat the Rangers, and feel comfortable going into the playoffs on behalf of Florida's part. I think maybe team goals might be the angle here for Florida. Over 3.5 is at plus 116, especially if you don't get Igor or Shesterkin in net. And you can get Florida on the 60-minute line at minus 105. So I think you lean with Florida. I still think you lean with the better teams here rather than the teams who have checked out. Montreal is a big favorite, 7-10 face-off. They are minus 310 over the Blackhawks. 5.5 is the total in this game. And I got to suspect that Montreal will just come out with their A-plus effort here. And, they would love to clinch this playoff spot in front of their fans. Soderblom is the goalie for the Blackhawks, and Montembeault is the goalie for the Canadians tonight. Obviously, minus 330 is such a big number to play. Montreal is another fun town to visit. So maybe the Blackhawks kind of taking it easy here, going into their last game. You got to figure if there's going to be a blowout on the evening, it's got to be this one with Montreal. I mean, the stage is set for them. It's Monday night. Let's clear our heads. I get it. This is the third game in 4 nights. Lost back-to-back road games Friday and Saturday, but now we're comfortable at home. We have the Blackhawks. Let's just get a win, and we're in the playoffs. So you got to figure if there was one team that's going to win, maybe by a route, that's got to be Montreal. The 60-minute line is minus 185. The total goals for Montreal over 3.5 is a minus 140. So anyway you dice it, you got to pay a price here for the Canadians. Minus 1.5 goals is minus 120. Plus number at plus 162. If they win by 3, if they win by 4, at plus 430. I don't know if they'll win by 4, but I wouldn't rule that out either. I mean, this could be seriously a 3-0 game here at the end of the first period. And that might be a good angle to try to take here. If you get some sort of an alternate result. Let's see, you get Montreal in the first period at plus 110. I think that's good. Minus a half a goal. Yep. Plus 110 to get an alternate puck line for the Canadians. Let's see. They're expecting them to score. I mean, they're over half a goal is minus 260 for the first period for Montreal. Let's see. Is there any other angles we can take on the first period? I mean, I think that's really about it. I mean, the first period puck line, you get plus money if the Montreal can win the first period, plus 110. So I would look at that perhaps as well, and a nice, cheap, easy way to play the Canadians. And if you lose that, you can probably try to catch up in play as well. But I think plus 110 to win the first period against the Blackhawks. I think that's actually a really, really good bet. That's maybe the bet of the evening. So I expect the Canadians to roll in this game. Nashville 8-10 face-off. They host Utah. Two teams that it really doesn't matter here. Utah, much better of an offensive team than Nashville. Nashville has been a little bit more of a stingier team on defense. Let's see. 6.5 is the total. Let's see who our goalies are. Now, 6.5 is a big line considering it is Nashville. And all I see for goalies is Yusei Saros, who is a good goalie, by the way, for Nashville. I would think this would play under, but, again, two teams who've checked out for the season might not be playing as hard on defense. Might be playing a little bit softer than usual. So maybe that will promote goals in the net to go over 6.5. Again, this just looks like a game I want no piece of whatsoever. So I would just suggest laying off on that. And then we have two late night games, 10:10 Eastern Standard Time. The Kings and the Oilers are the first of that one. The Kings are minus 162, over under 5.5. Now, I don't think we have Draisaitl tonight. Yeah, they're going to bench Draisaitl. We don't have McDavid. So the Oilers have pulled the plug, really. They're ready to get into the playoffs. And you're going to get a much better probably performance here from the Kings. Again, if we look at the standings in the Western Conference, let's see, conference-wise, let's see. The Kings have 101, and they can jump. I mean, they can jump the Avalanche still for a better seed. They can even jump Dallas if Dallas goes on the bad stretch. The Kings have 3 games left. Look at that. And the Oilers just have a couple of games left. Minnesota can't catch them. They're going to be hard-pressed to catch the Kings. So Edmonton's kind of happy with where they're at with the number 6 seed. And that will get them Dallas likely in the first round. The Kings can jump, though. And to get home ice, especially if they're going to end up playing Colorado, would kind of be a big deal here. So I expect the Kings to give a grade A effort, especially since they have extra games left. I mean, they have 3 games left to play. I would lean with the Kings here on the road. In fact, the Kings are a big favorite over Edmonton. This line has now jumped up to minus 162. It was minus 135 earlier, just a few hours ago. So this is really the Kings have really called a lot of money here. There's a lot of steam on them. So that's the team I would kind of favor at this point. Looks like we have Calvin Pickard in goal for Edmonton, and Darcy Kemper will be your goalie for the Kings. So I like Los Angeles in this game. A nice little Los Angeles, Montreal parlay. Well, let's see. What does that pay at the end of the day? Plus 113 if you want to take both of those teams on the straight money line. If you want to make basically just like a straight bet, you'll get a little bit of plus money back with the Kings and Montreal on their just straight up money lines. Now, if we do a 60-minute line, let's see what we get paid here with Montreal minus 185. And then, I mean, this is kind of the moment in a time where maybe I wish I bet like $1,000 a game or something, because this is something I would do. I would bet the Kings and the Canadians on their 60-minute line here. That's just how confident I feel about it. But the 60-minute line for the Canadians and the Kings pays exactly 2-1 plus 200 if both those teams can win in regulation. All right, and then our final game, San Jose is at Vancouver. Vancouver is a big favorite, minus 330 here, but they easily could have been checked out for the season. I mean, they've had a hard NHL season trying to hang in there and grab a playoff spot. outside looking in for the most part. The Sharks have been eliminated for a while, so maybe you might get a better than expected effort from them, considering they've been bounced for a minute here. At the end of the day, this is a no play, but I cannot lay minus 330 on Vancouver in this game. I mean, I can't. I heard someone earlier make a case for San Jose, and I get it. But I'll avoid this game altogether. Again, Georgiev is the goalie here for San Jose, and Nikita Tolopilo will be your goalie for Vancouver. All right. Not expecting much offense. Tolopilo, his total saves for the game are at 21.5, and Georgiev is at 24.5. I had Montreal against Toronto over 2.5 team goals on Saturday. They had 8 shots in the third period. So hard to get goals when you only have 8 shots deep into the third period if you're a hockey team. All right, so we'll pass on the San Jose and Vancouver game altogether, as we will pass on the Utah and Nashville game. And I think we have, I think you can lean Dallas. I think you can lean Florida. And then I think your strongest plays are Montreal and the Kings. Okay, let's go ahead and, do we throw anyone in the penalty box? I mean, it's the last week of the season. You have teams basically quitting,
Mike, come on.
giving up for the season. And I guess since Edmonton's kind of the obvious team to lay off the gas here tonight, we'll throw them in the penalty box. And you can play against them here for their last couple of games. The Kings, good play, I think, for them tonight. Couple goal scorers. We'll grab one from the Kings. And I've repeated this name on this show several times. But give me my man, Adrian Kempe, for the Los Angeles Kings. He's at 2-1 to get a goal tonight. And then I'll go with another old reliable for the Canadiens, because I suspect they will be your other higher scoring team. And give me Nick Suzuki plus 155 for a goal. So 2 favorites in Kempe and Suzuki I will take to get a goal this evening. All right, let's look at the slate of games for the next couple of nights. And we'll just kind of set you up for that. Full load tomorrow night. Jersey and Boston won't matter. Toronto and Buffalo. Obviously, Toronto can try to fend off Tampa a little bit more. So we'll see what kind of effort they give there. Chicago will be on a back-to-back at Ottawa. Columbus is at Philadelphia. Florida is at Tampa Bay. Now, if Montreal loses tonight, it's Columbus tomorrow. You got to take Columbus at Philadelphia. Florida at Tampa Bay. 2 old rivals. Likely will be laying down at that point. Washington. You can't say that. I mean, Tampa Bay can still gain on Toronto. Washington will be at the Islanders. I feel like they're just in complete relaxed mode going into the playoffs after this weekend's performance. Utah will be on a back-to-back at St. Louis. Again, St. Louis has to have that game, so that's a strong lock for tomorrow night, as is Minnesota against Anaheim. Those would be 2 good 60-minute lines, maybe to grab. Maybe I trust St. Louis a little bit more with the overtime. But St. Louis, Minnesota, maybe some sort of parlay you can play tomorrow. Maybe throw Columbus in on that if they're still alive. And then Vegas is at Calgary tomorrow, and the Kings are at Seattle. I think we'll have a much more clear picture, obviously, of the Western Conference after tomorrow night's games. Wednesday night, Carolina is at Montreal, so that will be Montreal's next chance if they blow it tonight. Anaheim at Winnipeg, Detroit at New Jersey, Dallas at Nashville, Vegas at Vancouver, Edmonton at San Jose, and then we'll close up Thursday We'll have a show, but we'll preview these games that night. Now, we're bound not to have any excitement, to be honest, at that point. So Philadelphia these all may be meaningless. Philadelphia at Buffalo, Detroit at Toronto, Carolina at Ottawa, Tampa at New York, Washington at Pittsburgh, New York at Columbus, and Calgary at the Kings. That is Thursday, and that's when we will come back on the air, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, for What the Puck is Going On. All right, that will do it. We have about 30 minutes until face-off, so good luck on your tickets tonight, and we will see you Thursday. This is What the Puck is Going On. I am Stephen Murray. This is the Deep End Broadcasting Network YouTube channel, Deep End, DEEPEND Broadcasting, and the website you can find all our content on, deependbroadcasting.com. All right, guys, have a good Monday evening. Springtime is here. Playoffs are here. It should be a fun couple of months, and we look forward to it. We will see you Thursday night here on What the Puck is Going On.
What the Puck is Going On.